So I asked subscribers to send in before and after photos of their gardens, and boy, have they ever. I've gotten them from all over the United States and really all over the world, hundreds and hundreds of emails. This is, I think, the 11th video from this, and I still have 100 plus emails for sure. So thank you guys so much for participating. Make sure you stick around to the end of this video because it's interesting to me. We have all of these plants we can use. We have all of these hardscape materials we can use. People have different types of problems they need to solve. We'll see that right here in this very first one. And, you know, so everybody has a different outcome, you know, in a different way they want to garden, and a different, you know, whether it's no grass or all grass or whatever it is, everybody has a different way to do this. So stick around to the end. They're all very, and are all interesting and different. This person's over in Hickory, North Carolina. They just used their first initial, so we're calling them M. M is in, again, Hickory, North Carolina, which is in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. I would imagine, depending on elevation, would depend on their zone. It could be 7A or 6B, probably even 6A, not that far from them, up in the higher hills. They had this erosion issue out by the road, as you can see, and made this really nice dry creek bed, planted a few things around it at this point, just trying to control this water going through here. This is another angle back up toward the house before this work was done. And then they came in and put this fence in, lots of containers, interesting brickwork, a lot of interesting use of hardscape materials here and containers. And they sent this this video as well. You can see a really nice black aluminum fence that they put in, and lots of container plants. You know, a lot of people like to garden with containers more than they do in the ground, and you know, this is lots of containers. And the interesting thing is, if you garden with all containers, right, you can go back in and mix them back around or protect them in the garage or the house or whatever. So thank you so much, Em, for sending these in. Let me jump into the video real quick. Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. Thank you guys so much for sending in these photos, for these before and after subscriber videos. I just love seeing all of your photos. I still have tons of emails. There's going to be several of these going up right in a row, and I'm still going to have 100 emails. But if you're interested in sending in photos, I'd love to see more of them. You can send them to this email address right here. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Next up, we have photos sent in from Shannon, and this is in Washington, D.C., Zone 7A. This one's super, super interesting. I've actually done a similar consultation to this with someone who was in Philadelphia. You know, her neighbors allowed her to kind of take over the small planting space that they had in front of these condominiums or apartments or whatever however you would describe these, or condo building. She described it actually, and she put in this incredible pollinator garden into this space. Says her upstairs neighbor says she's never had more tomatoes with all the pollinator activity around it. Here you can see it with some daffodils coming up in it to start with, and then lots and lots of pollinator plants. Really great use of this urban space. You get these little urban space. You know, it always amazes me when I go to places like DC or New York City, or you know, if there's a little spot of ground, someone will grab it and turn it into something interesting. You know, you can look. It's always amazing. But you can see giant sunflowers out here, other interesting pollinator plants, and then she has lots of containers as well. And another spot. You know, just doing the gardening that she can do with the space that's been allotted to her. But really, really love the use of this little spot in this urban area to create a great pollinator garden. So thank you, Shauna, for sending these in. So here's a tropical wonderland down in Punta Verde, Florida. This is Parker, Zone 9A. I had actually done a consultation with him in the past, and he's got this white vinyl fence, which, you know, actually can be an issue. Believe it or not, these white fences can reflect the sun back off and actually potentially burn the back of your plants. You know, it's one of those interesting things in a garden. I do love these white fences, but they do have the potential, you know, to reflect sunlight and really and burn leaves from the kind of the bottom up where they wouldn't normally be exposed to the sunlight. he only gets about 1 to 3 minor freezes a year in this area. And you can see beautiful swimming pool, you know, great spot to start with, right? And you can see him start to fill in pieces around it, trying to create, you know, a bit of a screen and also, you know, a tropical oasis at the same time. You can see the garden really starting to mature here. There's also underplanted, so you have the opportunity with a fence like this to limb the plants up into tree forms, which gives you the ground back to be able to plant up under them. I hope that makes sense. It's just, that's the way I would think about screening when you have a solid fence like this, is to get the screen from the top of the fence upward and maintain this bottom piece so you can do some other interesting things up under them. And you can see that's exactly what he's done here. Those palms always going to give you that type of opportunity, but the shrubs can be done that way as well. There's some privet and some other things that will get bigger in here over time that can also be limbed up. But great, you know, use of a pollinator underplanting and screening parts up top, and you know, the tropical oasis that the pool kind of requires down in Florida. But thank you so much, Parker, for sending these in from Florida, and I look forward to talking to you again sometime. Next up, we have photos from Tana up in Grove City, Ohio. This one is a very large, a very big change. I started out with this front foundation with one tree probably planted a little bit too close to the house ultimately, and just the rest of it just all turf, and jumps in here and just creates this kind of topiary, you know, a topiary space of of manicured shrubs. And there, you know, you'll see. This is the amazing thing about this, getting all of these emails from folks. You'll get folks that are just want, you know, just a completely kind of rewilding of a space almost, or you'll get folks who, you know, are creating just a, you know, all pollinator plants, or they're trying to screen a space. They're trying to just create some privacy in their garden, or you'll get somebody who really loves a very manicured look in their garden. And you can see, obviously, that's Tana. And all of these topiaries are just absolutely amazing. They all look fantastic. I love the design of the turf here. The turf is going to be super easy to maintain when you do these long linear curves that you can just ride your lawnmower, you know, either a riding lawnmower or push lawnmower, and go around here and then come back with a weed eater and just clean up that little grassy edge a bit, or an edge, you know, whatever you edge with. Really easy to keep this bed in good shape, and you know, a little bit of work to keep these all these formal shapes done. But I really love it. I just like all of the variation that we can do, and that people love. You know, people like different things, and so thank you very much for sending these in from Ohio. Jumping in here one more time, I wanted to let everyone know, from the time this video goes up through the entire month of December 2023. There is a $60 discount off the Learn to Garden video series, which is the biggest discount that's ever been offered on it. You can use the code DEC60, capital DEC60, to get the $60 off during the month of December. Thank you guys so much for participating in all parts of the channel and watching, and again, happy Thanksgiving. Next up, we have photos from Sam up in Northern Virginia, and this one really wowed me when I saw these photos. He's got this really wild space in his back garden, and started out on a 4-year project here to tame it and to turn it into just a really amazing garden space. This dark green grass with this white trellis and this white edging and the white containers. And the white gravel that's between these terracotta colored stepping stones is just so striking in this back garden space. And so you just created this, you know, these steps going up. It's very dramatic, very dramatic space. Here's a couple other angles of it, and put these containers on the steps going up as well with the bright red. In those, you see some burgundy colors, some chartreuse colors up there. It's just a, I call my my garden design at the house, you know, Clown College design, because I do like vivid colors in the garden, and when you can contrast those colors like this green and white, it really you know, stands out. And then here's the front garden out here. He created this this space, a little whimsy, out here with the containers. Again, that white edging going around that turf is super, super striking, and just kind of matches the house really well. So thank you so much, Sam, for sending these in from Northern Virginia. These are from Marcos in London, England. This is just 2 photos, and I'm absolutely blown away by. I mean, a lot of these emails I get will have as many as 30, 40 photos. He just said, nah, I'll just send 2. So here we go. Here is the start of this, and you guys will not believe this transition. Don't know how long this took or anything. He did say thank you for all the inspiration to me. I don't know how much Marcos he actually needed me when he's able to do something like this. This is a pretty dramatic change from what he started with in this very small back garden space. And so what we've seen in this video is we've seen a big suburban lot in the last one transformed, and then we've seen a very small urban space in Washington D.C., and now here's a pretty small urban space in London. And it doesn't take a lot of space to make a lot of impact, and all of these colors, and it just looks amazing. So thank you very much for sending these in from London. Thanks for watching. Sometimes I forget to say that I think pretty much everyone in this video so far has said that they've done the work themselves. So I just want to point that out, that what you're seeing is the work of the homeowners, and this one is no exception to that. This is Glenn up in Agawam, Massachusetts, probably mispronouncing Agawam, but it's zone 5 to 5B. He's a physical therapist, has no landscaping experience, and again, has done all of this himself. So you got this photo taken a long time ago before, and then here's a video of what he's actually accomplished in this garden up in Massachusetts. And just, it looks fantastic from, what he started with here. Again, we're going to get around here to a shed, and I think, you can do a lot using a shed as a piece of the garden, and gardening around it, just becomes a piece of art, in the garden. Turf spaces look great. All of the hardscaping, all of the edging. This is a heck of a transformation that he's done up in Massachusetts. Thank you so much. Next up, this one's kind of funny because it's actually from Pacifica, California, and I think that's probably zone 9B or something like that. I was just there for 4 days 2 weeks ago, something like that. What a great place that is, a little south of San Francisco, down on the water. It's a nice community there. It was really nice because they had like 3 bakeries in town, and it's one of those things when I get out and travel and we never see. There are some bakeries in Raleigh, but nothing like you see out in other areas of the country. So took advantage of 3 different bakeries in Pacifica. Information no one needed. Let's see. These are from Teresa in, again, Pacifica, California. And this is a kind of a shared space in her neighborhood that she's been clearing out. The city's been taking the debris from it, and neighbors have given her some plants, and they've given her Russian sage and orange rocket barberries and loropetalum and black lace elderberry, redwood, eastern redbud. Lots of different plants have gone into this space, and just basically just kind of reclaiming a corner. You see the bench, the seating bench. The slope is really an opportunity. Sometimes slopes are hard to work on. I've done lots and lots of landscape work on slopes over the years because homeowners really struggled with it. But they are an opportunity to kind of present plants in a different way. So as you go up this hill, you can do interesting things, and all the layers can be seen because of the hill. Here's a little closer view of the bench and seating area in the neighborhood. And I drove through one of these neighborhoods like this on the way out of Pacifica. Really beautiful, kind of hilly, really, really hilly. As you leave the coast there, it just gets really wildly hilly, actually. And with curvy roads, great houses. Really, again, a great little town there. She's added lots of pollinator plants as well. So thank you so much for sending these in from Pacifica. Next up, we have a couple of photos from Noreen, and I actually don't know where these are from, but that's 3 big giant dwarf Alberta spruce. So probably likely somewhere in a slightly colder area, zone 5 or 6 in all likelihood. We can grow dwarf Alberta spruce in Raleigh, but they tend to struggle. They tend to get spider mites, you know, heat-related stress issues on them. These have obviously been here for a long time because we all know dwarf Alberta spruce are not in a big hurry, and these are above the gutters. So they decided to take them out and put in a pollinator garden, and, you know, with flowering things. This is a dramatic change, and now you can see the front of their house. They won't have the windows blocked, no place for somebody to hide. You know, this is one of those issues, you know, with designing in front of houses like this, where you don't want to block these front windows. You want to, you know, not give somebody an opportunity to be able to hide, you know, or, you know, just it. I always try to keep things below windows where I can. Sometimes it's harder and harder now with houses built on slab. These windows are up a little bit, but you could see definitely those dwarf Alberta spruce had taken over that space over the years, and this looks terrific, and I'm sure the pollinators are very, very excited about your new garden space. Thank you so much for sending these in. Last up for this video is a big one. This is Shannon over in Northeast Alabama, Zone 7B. I'm actually filming the audio for this in not that far from them, probably a little west at near Tuscaloosa. And they had 2 large garden beds they decided to do the cardboard method with, or sheet mulching with, where you just cover up the grass in cardboard to smother it. So you get the before photo, just big open space out here. Came in and planted some things, and you know, I'm sure that's probably Bermuda grass out there, which can be difficult to garden with. But here's the sheet mulching going down around the plants, and then mulched after that. This is a good linear group of photos here. It's easy to tell the story, and then bam, look at this with a little bit of age on it here. You see the hydrangea paniculatas up here, and just amazing colors in all the plants, and the turf looks great. All the edging around the beds looks great. This was a major transformation. Here's another view looking back to those hydrangeas from the middle of the garden here. It all just looks so neat and tidy. Great looking transformation here over in Northeast Alabama, Zone 7B. Thank you so much, Shannon, for sending these in. So that's 10 amazing garden transformations. Again, you can send in before and after photos to this email address right here, horttube@gmail.com. Make sure you turn your phone sideways if you're taking photos with your phone, because YouTube is a widescreen format. Thank you guys so much for participating.